Muchachos y muchachas. So we've been talking about the whole idea of the red loafers shoes thing. Are these elites wearing their symbolism on their feet? In the first video, we explored one of the genesis sources of the speculation. We explored the idea that Macaulay Culkin blew a whistle on an unknown French radio station with still an unknown French radio host. I'd still very much like to recover this interview and listen to it for myself. So if you have a link to it, please do so in the comments below. And please do not link me to a video that is reciting the same exact article that I recited in my last video. That is not an interview, that is a recitement. So if you have the actual interview with Macaulay Culkin's voice, please link that below. But we got past that piece thus far, which gets us to part 2, the people that wear the said articles of footwear. And I've got a lot of questions, including Macaulay Culkin. Stay right there, we're gonna go through it. Really quick, I'd like to thank the sponsor of this video, Arctos by Easy Summer Cool. As you guys may know, if you're in a southern state like me, it's still scorching outside. Doesn't matter if the seasons are changing or what. In Texas, it stays hot up until maybe December sometimes. But anyway, with that being said, I don't necessarily want to power up my entire unit just to stay cool. This is why this guy stays right here on my desk as I'm editing, and it keeps my power bill nice and contained. You guys can get one at easysummercool.com and save on your power bill as well. As you guys know, everything is so costly now, so save where you can. easysummercool.com. Okay, so the source of this idea of the red footwear was explored and questioned in the first video. If you missed it, I encourage you to go and watch it. There are some interesting assessments there. But as I mentioned in this video, we will be talking about the people specifically. And we're gonna start with Macaulay Culkin, as I opened up with. So I've gotta ask, because if you guys remember from the first video, it was believed that Macaulay was the one to blow the whistle on the world's elite, wearing shoes made out of horrors. And I would have to imagine by this quote, if that experience learning that the shoes were made out of a certain material made him vomit all over the executive shoes after learning that he would be absolutely repulsed to ever wear said footwear. I'll remind you that the alleged incident that it recalls of Macaulay being creeped on and informed was when he was 11 years old and he was on set of Home Alone 2, allegedly. If so repulsed and horrified, it makes me wonder why he would be wearing the same exact footwear in 2013. Shout out to user Miami Fox Streaming for pointing this out. Then go on and blow the whistle on this very said thing that he's wearing on his feet in 2017. I don't know, that confuses me, along with some other questionable things that he's done since. But let's carry on to other questionable individuals. Alexander Soros was spotted at the Devil's Heaven event headed by Robert Wilson with starring guests Marina Abramovic and Lady Gaga. Given the event's name, many people participated by theme of dressing of the night's occasion. Many wore some attributive red pieces. You can see red pants, accessories. One woman even went dressed up as a whole devil. And Alexander Soros chose red shoes that night. He paired it with a red plaid button-up shirt and a white suit, and even added some red framed glasses. Are these just fashion choices? Or is it a weird theme amongst his rich peers to wear red footwear? I'm unsure if the red slip-ons was part of this whole red footwear pact. For Alexander's case, given he was present at a very elitist benefit, very weird in itself, wine sponsored by the Rothschilds, controversial said guests, I don't deny that there were definitely some attributive satanic motifs. The whole event was weird. I made a whole video about it, so if you're curious, you can go check it out if you haven't already. But the suspicion is that the said shoes would be made out of this material. Boop, boop. And if we're being very honest about our observations, the red slip-ons do not look like leather. They look like cloth. They don't have a natural reflection as leather would typically do, and you'll see that in what we're going to cover next. And so I'm not quite sure if this is also attributive to the symbolism, if that is, the case. But I'll be honest with you, they look like cloth. Now, like I said, he was wearing some attributive red pieces, definitely attributive to the satanic motifs, okay? Not denying that. But these in itself are said to be red leather shoes, which they don't look like it to me. But I could be wrong. It could be a matte, taken photo still of the event, and maybe they were leather. But you guys can let me know in the comments below what you observe. But some other questions that are worth asking is, like, even if they're not leather, would that mean that he was at least attributing to the mentioned red pact? We know who his papa is, and we know what he'll be heir of. I'll leave you room to think for yourselves. Then there was this paparazzi capture of Bill Maher walking down the street with what seems to be actual red leather shoes. I did a reverse image lookup, and it points to him heading home after attending a 2013 70th at Golden Globes after party at the Sunset Tower Hotel in Los Angeles. Could it be that there was something that went down at this Golden Globes after party? I don't know that, to be completely honest with you. I couldn't even find photos of him actually attending the 70th annual Golden Globes itself. But I did find footage of him walking out of the hotel with this said paparazzi scene. Are his shoes even red? Is it the dim lighting? I'm gonna play it back. I feel like I'm playing an illusion game of the blue-white dress. You guys remember that whole controversy? Are these shoes red or brown? Y'all, if this image got saturated unfairly, I'm going to throw a chair. Not this one, but maybe one in my kitchen or something. I honestly want to take a critical view of this because this picture really circulated amongst social media. And look, celebrities, they're gonna get theirs no matter what. There's always gonna be criticism, and there's gonna be very critical scopes on them. But the said allegation was that these celebrities would wear the said footwear because of what? Because of the said horrors of child T-word and of, deleting and all that. Like, I think that we really need to assess this. I'm looking at the footage, and I'm also looking at the footwear. Now, if you Google or whatever search engine you want to search it through, brown shoes, you can see clearly that there are brown shoes with a red undertone. I don't know that myself, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know that I was fair in assessing this because I never looked into it, but I've never seen this paparazzi footage of him actually walking out the hotel. And when I look at the footage, it looks like clear brown shoes. Now, like I said, sometimes these shoes will have like a red undertone. I mean, that's not a conspiracy. That's not anything like obscure. That's just how dress shoes are made, with a red undertone. So I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm looking at the footage, and I think given also take into account, look at the lighting of this atmosphere. It's very orangey, yellow. There's even a red light, so that's kind of bouncing off of his skin. So could that even be attributed alongside with the paparazzi flash to, capture the redness in the shoes? I mean, I'm just like, look, I'm going to give you guys plenty of room to think for yourselves on this, but I'm just presenting everything on the table. And I think that's the fairest thing that I can do to rectify, you know, certain aspects, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to some weird things about the red shoes, but there's just certain parts where I'm like, I don't know that I can keep supporting the circulation of this idea that the shoes on his feet were made out of you know what. You guys can let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Ooh, the Pope indeed wears red leather shoes. Now, there are secrets behind the Vatican walls that I don't know that we will know in our lifetime, or until maybe Jesus comes back to eradicate all of this darkness completely. And although red shoes, not leather, have been a Pope tradition for centuries, some being preserved as silk, it was actually a trademark of Pope Benedict XVI to wear red leather loafers. This was a piece of information that I found really interesting written about these shoes. The Pope's red leather loafers became something of a trademark during his time in office, landing Benedict in a few unexpected places, including the style pages of Esquire magazine, who named the pontiff Accessorizer of the Year in 2007. Several pairs were handmade by an artisan in north of Italy, who was also cobbled for John Paul II, Barack Obama, George W. Bush. Writes Italy's ANSA News, Antonio Arellano, a Roman cobbler, has also made shoes for the Pope. While each pontiff has had his own style, red shoes are a papal tradition that goes back centuries. But wait, then there's Tony Podesta. Lo and behold, his famous picture. What's the story behind this photo? We need to explore that first. So this was taken at Tony's 65th birthday party. Here are some of the details. Techie lobbyist Tony Podesta painted his 65th birthday party red at the National Museum for Women in the Arts. For his big night Friday, the K Street King was not particular about gifts. All he wanted were shoes, old or new, for the Souls for Souls shoe charity. And by the way, side note, there was some controversy with that charity, Soul for Souls. Back in 2011, there was like an investigative report. It was like a piece of journalism, investigative journalism, that actually excavated some controversial truths that it was once perceived that these shoes that were donated, gently used, would go directly to people and children in need, when really this charity was selling it off wholesale to, I guess, smaller companies to resell them back. It was a whole thing. The founder actually had to step down and resign in 2012 and be replaced by a new president. So just so you know, there was some controversy with that particular charity. Known for his flamboyant fashion, particularly his red kicks, Podesta asked friends to wear red in his honor. "I'm the Imelda Marcos of shoes," Podesta told Yeas and Nays. Most attendees kept to the strict dress code, especially his colleagues who were matching red loafers. One associate gabbed to Yeas and Nays that their Giorgio Brutini shoes were purchased for the Podesta group on Overstock.com with a price tag less than $100. The theme party was my wife's idea, Podesta confessed. Heather Podesta, I got a lot of questions about his former wife too, and her elected fashion choices. But anyway, she was sporting bright red tights and matching peep-toe pumps. The choices of said theme indeed causes some cautious intrigue, as their taste in art, exhibited by a feature of their home, probes a lot of curiosity. For instance, their various macabre paintings by an artist of the name Biljana Djurjevic are ghastly, morbid, and frightening, as they feature what seems to be young-aged girls in abhorrent postured scenes, some of which have repetitive motif of them wearing red Mary Janes. Could this be an item of fascination with Podesta? The Podestas had not just one, but multiple paintings featuring the mentioned elements by the same artist. I did a video on this a couple years ago, and it is available on my website for free, nataliedenise.com. It's on the homepage under the name art. And there's more in that video that you'll probably want to become aware of. So with that being said, I have a lot of questions about, you know, how the, I guess I can call them former Podestas because they're no longer married anymore. But, you know, with the scene fashion choices that the wife had, Heather Podesta, and also just I mean, if you saw all of the art, they call it art, or we can call it debauchery, that they had hanging up in their house, and then the said motifs of the red shoes, I definitely could corroborate that there was some sort of fascination with that, that could be connected to their macabre, abhorrent pieces that they hung in their home. But like I said, I'm going to leave you guys plenty of room to think for yourselves. Now, are these red shoes made out of the 𝘰𝐿 of muchachitos, you know, the kiddos? That I can't say for sure, but the inspiration by at least one of whom I talked about in this video with the obscure taste may take inspiration from pieces of art, or what they call art, that should never be made in the first place. And of course, by the way, if you like this cutout sweater dress that I am wearing, which is super comfortable, you can get it at redinkboutique.com. The direct link is in my description below. Use the code for money off. So anyway, guys, I hope that I provoked some thought and some clarification, at least for you guys. I know that I was one of the accounts that would circulate the post without checking, and after doing a lot of, you know, careful observation, I would say that there are definitely some symbolism pieces that these richer elitist people in high positions, they definitely display. But when it comes to certain pictures, I definitely have a lot more critical observations. I want you guys to think for yourself and don't take this as, you know, every single thing is dismantled. I just really want to get to the facts of the weird stuff that's already weird, that we don't have to add on to. The facts are out there, the concreteness is out there. We just have to look in the right places. And in order to do that, we've got to decipher between what is BS and just created and sensationalized, and what is actual fact. So come back next time, because I will continuously make more and more of these videos, just getting down to it. Let's get down to the truth. Thank you so much for your support. And hey, for those of you that are new here, welcome to the channel. I hope that you guys are enjoying the video so far. Please be sure to like, share, especially share. Word of mouth is best. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.